Tashitete, everybody. Hello. I hope everyone is doing fine. And welcome back to this session. So as usual, start with a short breathing exercise. Try to bring one's body and mind in the present moment. Then take a few moments to refresh our refuge practice in the visualizations of absolute, the actual present of all the gurus, Buddhas, who adorn the quality of Dharma and who possess the qualities of the Sangha, surrounded by all the other enlightened and Bodhisattvas, Arya, ordinary, Dharma protectors. Visualize and feel, vivid present within your continuum, which your own Dharmakaya mind representing, or Dharmakaya mind, which is what is the Buddha or the Buddha potential, the Dharma or the Dharma potential, the Sangha or the Sangha potential, the deity or the deity potential. Their absolute being in your house, in your prayer room, or wherever you are, is completely filled with the energy of the merit field, completely blessed entire one's existence as well as the environment by the enlightened qualities. And there, the conventional I or the person diligently taking refuge with full conviction and absolute reliance, full convictions in the absolute enlightened abilities in this merit field or the refuge field, and complete reliance in any ups and downs of conventional experiences or conventional life, in whatever situation, completely reliance. To protect us from the negativities and the sufferings, and guide us, lead us, and abide us in the resultant qualities of the Buddhas. Then feel this causal stage of conventional, ordinary me completely nurtured or prepared without delaying to actualize the resultant merit field or resultant refuge field within one's own being, one which is oneself, the absolute, in the Buddha state. So try to understand this and feel it, and try to leave as strong imprint as possible in one's continuum. So then now take a few moments to meditate on loving kindness, compassion, and make a extensive charity or generosity of dedicating the positive energy, the positive thoughts, positive the merits through whatever channel that it can be, the frequency of attitude, frequency of the power of intention, frequency of power dependent arising, frequency of the karmic connection that we have with the rest of the sentient being and rest of the environment. Then with the full confidence in your heart that both the environment and the sentient beings receive the benefit of your compassion, of the generation of love, and the generation of kindness, generation of altruism, and including the dedications of one's life, one's rest of the future life, for the well-being of numberless sentient beings. In particularly, this very session, for that cause, is definitely, absolutely, sentient beings receive the benefit of purifications of their sufferings, and also the environment, bring about purification of the impure, contaminated environment. And those of you who know the four immeasurable thoughts, then you can meditate on that accordingly, or otherwise just simply express loving kindness, compassion, and dedicate that. And so now take a moment to feel joy, feel rejoiced, feel rejoiced in your opportunity to relate your life to the well-being of rest of the numberless sentient beings. How wonderful to have such mindfulness, such opportunity, which is more precious than any material jewels. It's a priceless, infinite benefit, even if it's just generated for one moment. When we look into the benefit of altruism in the Buddhist Charya, like such as Precious Garland, there's so many Mahayanic teachings that which describe the unbelievable benefit of generating altruism, even in the aspirational thought. So what we have just done is we express that aspirational thought, aspirational altruism. Even without depending on the scripture quotations, even just in the common sense, just knowing the characteristic of such attitude is so marvelous, so beautiful. As I always, like myself, I try to convince any form of generation of Dharma heart, altruistic attitudes towards someone else. Give a reason that if somebody express such attitude towards you, what would you feel? You will definitely feel grateful, heart touched, feel supported, feel loved, feel cared, feel treasured, feel you are not alone. So, similar way, the rest of the numberless sentient beings, those of who don't have the ability to see your heart, they anyway will receive the benefit, but then numberless sentient beings out there who have capability to see your heart, understand what you are thinking, and each and every one of them will express the joy, appreciation, like how you would express when someone do this similar to you. And this is one of the best way to pleases our gurus, one of the best way to pleases the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, to whom we always venerate them. They are the object to be achieved as ultimate quality in us. Every single virtuous conduct, including learning this Dharma, is eventually for us to become just like them. And generation of such altruistic mind is the way to please them. And the purpose of pleasing the Guru, purpose of pleasing the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, deities, Dharmapalas, Dakinis, Dakas, is to receive blessing within our mental continuum of those qualities, all the qualities that possessed by this merit field. So, such a short moment, able to conduct unbelievable, vast actions of altruistic virtue. So knowing that you have this capability, then you aspire yourself that I must live long, long life. I must take good care of my body and mind. With the tools of the Dharma and the virtue for the benefit of numberless sentient beings this way. So for that reason, this very moment, I will pay full attention and try one's very best, not only to understand the theory, but to apply in action in our day-to-day life. To absolutely take place of transformation from this ordinary basis to the enlightened, qualities. From this impure basis to the pure enlightened, qualities. To this hallucinated basis, then to the awakened, transcendental wisdom. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so today we will continue from last class, which is page 91. And the subject is on emptiness, the ultimate altruism, from the two main paths, to the Mahayanic Dharma or to the Lojong teaching. And last class emphasized about the preliminary practices. So today's session is very much on the basis of actualizing those preliminary bases, then taking the emptiness wisdom into our meditation session as an object of meditation. So today's teaching is very much on meditation. As for one individual's practice, dividing, one individual dedicating one's 1 hour or 1 day or month or year into cultivation of emptiness, then that individual would divide on the basis of all the preparatory necessities, which we have discussed last class, then divide the hour or the day or the month or the year into two sections. One is the meditation session, and another one is post-meditation session. Then in meditation session, it divides into three three portions, three sections, three parts. The first is to establish unmistaken understanding of the emptiness, even though one must have learned before, but just before getting into the meditation, after all the preparatories, including sitting down and ready for the meditation, before actually grabbing the object of meditation, the the initial part of the meditation, which is separate from the preparation. This part of the meditation, the initial part of the meditation, that which become the direct cause to lead into the two type of meditation, the analytical meditation and absorption meditation. So it is being direct cause for that. So you bring three parts into the meditation, separated from the prerequisite as a preparation. So the first part is refresh, one's understanding on emptiness, such as is very much understanding the three bases to actualize the wisdom of emptiness. The first is the object, where you're going to analyze, or where you're going to actualize or understand the emptiness, which is the base. There comes self and the others. The self is the identity, which usually we call in relation to a person, and the I, I, the identity. When we talk about self in relation to these, other than the self, the identity, the person's identity, then it is talking about the name of the things. So name of the aggregates, like a form, feeling, a table, etc. So first, we identify the object where you're going to actualize the wisdom of emptiness. So in an example, in this case, the person, which is the the identity, the name, the title, I is the object. Then second is to understand the negation. In order to actualize the wisdom of emptiness, we have to understand the negation. What to negate on that basis or on that subject, where you're going to analyze the emptiness. So we need to know the characteristic of negation. So when it comes to negation, the general and ultimate, the emptiness assertion in the Mahayanic Dharma, especially Lojong teaching, is based on the Prasangika Madhyamika school. So therefore, the negation that presented, like such as by Nagarjuna, such as by Lama Tsongkhapa, such as by Dharmakirti, based on the Prasangika school. So we need to understand that negation. So what is that negation? That negation is not only negating true existence, but also negating inherent existence, or intrinsic existence, or substantial existence. You see, so the negation is inherent existence. Inherently existent is the thing that need to be negated on the person. On the person. On I. The intrinsic existence is the negation that need to be negated on the person, on the I, on the me. Substantially existent is substantially existent, which is one of the characteristic to the inherent existent. You see, So when you want, so okay, if make it just one word, the negation is inherent existent. Okay, and that inherent existent carry the characteristic, you know, if you want to illustrate by more names, given more names based on this Pasanghika school, then the characteristic or the different phases or the different names that person that inherent existence carry is one of them is substantial existence, one of them is true existence, one of them is the essential existence, one of them is intrinsic existence, one of them is dualistic existence. You see, so when then one of them is independent existence. So when you want to when you negate, when you go to negate inherent existence, you need to negate every aspect of mentioned phases of inherent existence in the Pasanghika school. Okay, so now the person is the object where you're going to bring about empty of this negation. You need to negate these negations. So I, me, a person, or you see, I, on the I, on this identity, you need to negate inherent existence. When you negate the inherent existence, it naturally, it negates entire different phases that just mentioned, different characteristic of inherent existence just mentioned. But as a beginner, for understanding, if we don't know the different phase, the name of the different phases, or the slight different expressions of the different phases, even when we catch the name inherent existence and go to negate that, we may not able to negate it is absolute. We may negate the name of inherent existence, or we may negate in some degree of it is basis, but one may not able to wipe away completely or negate completely. So in order to negate from every standpoint of every stand of the inherent existence, then it is beneficial for individual, for especially a beginner, for individual to learn the definition of each of the the name mentioned, the negation that mentioned. Good to know the definition. Then based on that each definition, and try to kind of peel off, like layer by layer. One can peel off, or one can negate from the lighter to the subtle forms of the negation, or you can grab the subtlest. You can grab the subtlest, which is the inherent existence. Then you try to how to say. How to say, yeah. So you grab the main point, then it's like, yeah, it's like it's like grabbing the whole onion. The core of the onion is already within that onion, isn't it? Then peeling one by one from the skin, then you reach to the core. Then that core also can bring about, easily can dismantle. Either that way, or either you directly go to the core and bring about absolute dismantling of its standpoint. So so anyway, So first is to know the negation. You see, so here it's beneficial to refer to the tenets, Buddhist tenets, the four school Buddhist tenets. Each one of them present emptiness or the selflessness, and then each one they present the negation for that, and as far as concerned in Pasanghika school, all the negation that presented by earlier school, it's like a peeling, like the onion peeling from gross to the subtle. First you purify or negate the Vaivasika's understanding of what to be negated. Then Saudantika was it? Then the Chittamatras, Vaivasika and Sutra follower, their negation is very similar. So once you're able to purify or negate the negation of Vaivasika, is very much similar that you are negating the negation that which asserted by Saudantika. Then the another big standpoint, or much more subtle presentation of emptiness by the minority school or Chittamatra, then the negation also become more subtle. More negation also become tougher. So there need to spend a greater effort, and as a beginner, spending greater effort when you comes to the understanding of the emptiness by the presentation of Chittamatra, including putting effort to negate the negation that which presented by Chittamatra, it can be very helpful to the negation of the Pasanghika school for the final school. So then negate the negation that which presented by Saudantika Madhyamika school. Then you reach to the actual core, the most subtle, the negation that which presented by the Pasanghika Madhyamika school. So that way that you can able to how to say, not only superficially, you overcome the negation, but you either to do with the understanding or either to do with the actual purification of the negation. It really, get to the absolute point, towards the actual, actualizations of the ultimate truth. So you see, so anyway, to understand negation. Then the third thing is in understanding the actual wisdom, at least intellectually understanding what is the wisdom of emptiness. You see, what is the wisdom of emptiness? So, so wisdom of emptiness is nothing more and nothing other than the finding of the conclusion of the the finding or the mind that actualize the awareness through the through negating the negation. So the wisdom of selflessness or wisdom of emptiness is nothing more than the understanding or the conclusion that which you gain from negating the negation. How big deal that we talk about this emptiness wisdom. is not something that you get to a very colorful state. It is just simply the state of voidness of the negation. Just that it. So therefore, the most important among these three, the understanding the characteristic of the negation that play the most important role, because without negating completely, we cannot gain the absolute voidness, which is emptiness. You see, so as a beginner, need to understand, what is emptiness. What is this emptiness? This emptiness is nothing more than empty of the negation. That's it. Empty of that negation. Nothing to grab. Nothing colorful to see. It is simply reaching to the state of voidness of all the negations, the grasping of inherent, achieving the empty of grasping of inherent to the self, achieving the voidness of grasping to the intrinsic, innate, dualistic, all the name that we mentioned before, just simply achieving voidness of the grasping in that to the self. And that is called the wisdom of selflessness, or that is called wisdom of emptiness. Yes. So we need to have very clear understanding that, before really, setting into either analytical meditation or absorption meditation. Otherwise, we don't know how to meditate. Without these three bases, we will not know how to meditate. We carry the name, big name, emptiness. I'm going to meditate on emptiness. It's like stay blank. Stay blank is not meditating on emptiness. You are meditating on empty. Here, we're supposed to meditate on emptiness, not meditate on empty. You see? So meditation on emptiness, emptiness, this in Tibetan, Tongba Nyi. So in English word, it really works exactly like that or not, but it's my own imagination. Emptiness. I divide these two into two, empty and nest. So empty is yes, empty, void. Nest is existent. So establishing existing by negating non-existent. Establishing the dependent arising, establishing dependent arising self. You establish the conventional reality, the self. In actual reality, I exist, isn't it? My nature is emptiness. My nature is not empty. My nature is emptiness. One's nature is emptiness. One's nature is not empty. One's nature is exist. One's nature, my nature is existent. My nature cannot establish, won't able to establish, non-existent of my nature. You see? So therefore, nest means exist. By establishing existing through bringing total non-existent of the negation on the basis the self, you establish, you're able to avoid the two faults, the two extremes, nihilism and nihilism. You see, so you're able to establish real Uma or real middle way, real Pasangika, real Pasangika school, real view of a Pasangika, or real view of the Madhyamika, absolute view of Madhyamika, which is mean middle way, middle way by purifying the two extreme. So if you actualize only empty, then you are unable to purify the two extreme. You see, so therefore we have to establish emptiness. So if you want to establish emptiness, then you have to establish both non-existent and the existent in the simultaneous simultaneously on the object or on the basis where you are actualizing absolute truth, which is a person here. You see, so the moment you negate the moment you negate the negation, simultaneously you actualize the absolute truth of existence. Absolute truth of existence. So you now then actualize the real existent you. Now you become a real existent. Someone that who genuinely performs karma, who genuinely suffering in the samsara, because it is absolute truth, absolute truth that which carry the conventional reality on that basis. That brings about oneself presently as a samsaric person. But at the same time, this person, this really existent me, if I create all the conditional interdependent right causes and condition for enlightenment, right there, I or the person can truly become Buddha, can really become Buddha. Because the person or the I can really become Buddha because the person or the I's absolute nature is not inherent existent. Because of absolute nature is being not inherent existent, therefore the dependent arising is possible. If my absolute nature is inherent existent, dependent arising is not possible. So because of lacking, because of to be able to eradicate all the different phases of negation on one base, I definitely can become Buddha. As long as you create the interdependent condition and causes, you can become Buddha. So therefore, in absolute nature of self, as long as you bind by the samsaric cause and condition, you are samsaric person. The moment you releases the samsaric cause and condition, and you actualize all the causes and conditions of the enlightened quality, then you are enlightened right on that very one base. You see, so that makes the possibility of Buddha possible right this very moment. And Buddha is like ever born. Buddha is ever born within one's continuum. Like Dharmakaya is ever born within one's continuum. You see, Dharmakaya, the absolute, purity, the omniscient, the omniscient capabilities or omniscient what do you call the state of omniscient being the state of omniscient within one's continuum, either whether you want to call as a Buddha potential or whether you want to call as a already existing immortal Buddha, whatever you want to say, it has a two way of understanding, already having Buddha potential or already Buddha pre-existent, both has explanation, both has a correct explanation, both has a concludable explanation. So whatever you assert it, it can able to establish right this very moment on this ordinary person, like an example is like a sky. I don't know whether I give an example last week, like a sky, like the vast, voidness, infinite, clarity of the sky is ever present. The space ever present, isn't it? So, good sky, not good sky, clear sky, not clear sky, even though given the name to the sky, but is very much defined by the temporary cause and condition. If that luminous, clear, vast sky covered by a cloud, we say today the sky is a very moody sky, a very depressing sky, isn't it? When there's no cloud, when absolutely clarity, we say it's a clear sky. You see, so similar, our mind is like the space. It is on absolute being. It has no contamination. Is ever present there. The Dharmakaya aspect of our mind is ever present there. You see, So whether we recognize or whether we are able to establish oneself as a Buddha or suffering sentient being is very much description based on the superficial, the environment of the mind. Based on the superficial environment of the mind. You see, so therefore, if the diluted, the hallucinational mind sees our mind, we see it as a suffering mind, is a samsaric mind, impure being. When seized by the purified mind, when our mind is perceived by the purified mind, when our absolute basis of clear light mind perceived by the purified mind, we that for that purified mind, you are Dharmakaya. You see, it sees the Dharmakaya being, Dharmakaya continuum. You see, so right very now that we cannot find Dharmakaya within us. We cannot find Buddha within us. Is because we carry the hallucinational perception. You see, so hallucinational perception is the one that defining who we are. You see, so like an example, if Buddha perceiving you, Buddha perceiving your absolute nature or being is no different than him. Tara perceiving you, Tara perceiving your absolute nature, your absolute being, she see we are no different than her. She see Buddha in us. You see, but for the impure mind, when we perceive Buddha's holy being, Buddha's holy being, most likely that we will see faults in the Buddha. You see, because of the perception is in the forms. You see, so now you see is absolutely the perception is the one that define the existent, define what kind of the existence should be out there. You see, and the you see the hallucination, what's it? The perception, the presenting the existing, both the self and the environment, by the ordinary perception is impure being, impure environment. You see, so therefore, in emptiness, we can able to purify it, this impure perception. You see. You see. So now you see according with the Pasangika view, a Pasangika school is also called as a consequential, like what you call the consequence, like result, consequence, called consequential school. You see, so the actualizations of the absolute truth is by the result of presenting correct reasoning, factual reasoning. Then you come to a conclusion, or you actualize the consequential presentation of the ultimate truth. You see, so like an example, am I samsaric being? Am I samsaric being? Yes, I am samsaric being because I am contaminated by karma and delusion. Contaminated by karma and delusion. So because of the contamination of karma and delusion, I establish as a samsaric person. You see, on that basis, that with the valid reasoning, that I am able to establish myself as a samsaric person. Let's say Mother Tara. Mother Tara is enlightened being because it's free from condemnation of karma and delusion, or free from the true obscuration. So giving the reason of the free from the true obscuration or delusion, and obscuration or omniscience, you establish Mother Tara as an enlightened being. You see, so so similar way, I is empty because I is lack of inherent existence. So because of lack of inherent existence, I establish as a selfless. I establish, the second one, I establish because I is lack of inherent existence. So with the reasoning, valid reasoning of lack of inherent existence, you prove I as a selfless. The consequences, since it's the consequential school, consequences of establishing lack of inherent existence, establishing the reasoning of lack of inherent existence, you're able to establish selflessness. I is able to, establish selflessness. I able to establish emptiness. So, so similar way, So you have to examine. I is lack of. I is emptiness because uh, I is a lacking of intrinsic existence, or dualistic existence. So you give the similar logical reasoning to establish I as a emptiness. You see, so and establishing the absolute understanding of who really I is, giving all this logical reasoning, you conclude yourself lies in the nature of emptiness, is the way how you bring about the establishment of the consequential, establishment of selflessness or emptiness of self, or emptiness of person, or emptiness of phenomena. So like this. So after you prepare this, bring about this the three thing. You are clear with these three things: the object, the negation, and the wisdom. Then now, first you do analytical meditation on emptiness. You analyze. So as we learned last class, as a beginner, we try not to grab the whole phenomena as to analyze emptiness. We start with self. First, you try to figure it out, the selflessness or the emptiness of self. Then, once you are certain, what do you call the once you gain certain firm familiarity with that, then you use the same technique on the other phenomena, like starting from the form, like what presented in the Heart Sutra, all those different objects, five aggregates, the 12 sources, 18 constituents, 12 link of interdependent arisings, Four Noble Truths, True Truths, so you can apply the same technique and try to establish emptiness on each of those bases. But first, it's on the self. You see, once if you are quite an advanced, trained practitioner, then you already can start to meditate on the more complexity objects. You can do that, or you can do multitasking. Like within one session, you can hop on and hop up with so many different object of meditations. So anyway, so first to the analytical meditation. So yeah. So I think better follow the. So the after finding of the analytical meditation, through analysis, you come to a finding of emptiness of self. On that finding, that understanding, or that wisdom, which is called the wisdom of analytical meditation, and you take that as a absorption meditation. Absorption meditation or concentrational meditation. There, nothing to investigate. Very much, using more subtle state of meditational concentration to have a clarity, to have a steady focus and clarity, to develop the highest clarity as possible, and the as steady focus as possible by placing your concentrational ability on the wisdom that you gain from the analytical meditation, and there you absorb into that. You see, so as an individual meditator, you can divide the 3 sections in one session, or you can do separate sessions. If you are doing the 2 meditation, either can do combined or separate sessions, but the initial the understanding of the 3 points needed to be attached to any of the way that you want to engage in meditation. You just want to do analytical meditation, first you get ready with the 3 points that I presented before. If you are directly going into absorption meditation, then first you prepared with the 3 points, then you get into the absorption meditation, or you can do whole 3 things in one session. So like that. Okay. So next, the initial meditation on the absence of the intrinsic existence of the perceived object is presented in the following line. Okay, so again, there's the emptiness on the object, emptiness meditation on the object, and emptiness meditation on the subject, the mind, then emptiness meditation on the emptiness. You see, so these 3 things has to come together in order to actualize the complete aspect of emptiness. Otherwise, there are danger, like some of the philosopher school. They have a clear understanding on emptiness of the object, but then there's no understanding on the subject. They may have the clear understanding or clear conclusion on the subject and object, but then they still have a certain degree of stain or the grasping to the emptiness itself. You see, so in order to clear all the stain of the negation, then within the session, you see, you either divide or you do the major time meditation on the object, emptiness on the object, like such as self. Then at the end, before you conclude the session, then you give few moments or some time to do a short meditation on the subject, the mind that which is observing the object. Then spare some time to meditate on the emptiness itself, the emptiness of the emptiness. You see, or you can do separately, in order to not to limit yourself, or come to a limitation, in the conclusion of the retreat or the meditation that you're conducting, to have absolute realization on emptiness. You see, so these are the few different methods. And here now the presenting first is object. So train to view all phenomena as a dreamlike. This entire world of the external environment and the being within it, which are by nature mere appearances, are nothing but aberrations of your own deluded mind. Thus, not even a single atom exists with the reality separate from the mind. When you examine thus, you will come to realize that even on the conventional level, no referent of your awareness is established as a possessing substantially true existence. Contemplating in this manner, contemplating in this manner then will lead to have a more steady the analytical mind for you to also have an observation on the subject itself. So anyway, now this entire world. So you see, so this is a very clear guidance, how we should proceed. The analytical meditation. The only thing in this passage that I read, only thing you define yourself either as you will know whether you're a beginner or the advanced. If you think that you're a beginner, then you follow the instruction of the master that I have said before. First, you reflect on the self. If you think you're more advanced, then follow accordingly with this. This entire world of the external environment and the being within it, which are by nature mere emptiness, mere appearances. Why? Because it's nothing but it is appearation of your own deluded mind. Why? Because if you go to examine on any phenomena, that you cannot even find single atom exists with a reality separated from the mind. You see. So because of that, you will come to realize that even on the conventional level, you cannot find any reference of your awareness is able to establish possessing there's a substantial existence or substantial truly existing on the basis. So you see, so like giving a reason, each sentence, the sentence after one after another, giving it is support, reasoning, very clear, isn't it? So now here, one thing. The entire world, the external environment, and being within it, which are nature mere appearances. Mere appearances. So that negate inherent existence. So from here you can understand that the view here presenting based on the Pasangika view. You see, mere, the mere, it negates the southern thinkers, false. Southern thinker assert from the object side, in order to establish existence, there should be, substantial, existence on the base. Then on that, the lack of true existent mind label as object, label as I, then you're able to establish the I, establish the existence of I, or the emptiness of I. You see, so like a Saudantika Madhyamika, in order to establish, me, that is Zopa, then there has to be, there has to be something substantial from the basis. Either has to be from the basis, which is from the aggregates. Either had to be in the mind, either has to be on the body. There's something substantial out there. Then on that, then you label Tenzin Zopa. Then only Tenzin Zopa can exist. If there's nothing, then nothing can find. Then nothing substantially exists inherently from the basis. You won't able to establish Tenzin Zopa. Even you give a name. You cannot find Tenzin Zopa. You cannot establish Tenzin Zopa. You see? So now here, for Pasangika, final school, Pasangika, in order to establish, like me, Tenzin Zopa, you don't have to establish anything from the object side. Not even a substantial, not even a nominal substantial, even an atom. There's no need at all in order to establish me. Tenzin Zopa can, someone can establish Tenzin Zopa with, Tenzin Zopa can be actualized. I can exist merely in the appearances, merely in the appearances of the thought, merely in the appearances of the mind, merely in the appearances of the label. So therefore we say, merely labeled by mind. I exist merely labeled by mind. I exist merely labeled by appearances. You see, so meaning merely I exist merely labeled by perception. You see, so in all I exist only in the perception. If you go to examine Tenzin Zopa on any part of my aggregates, Tenzin Zopa cannot be found at all. Not even one single atom that can say, "Oh, I see. Now I finally found that you are here, hiding, in somewhere." You see, or maybe in the hair, or in the cell, or somewhere. There's no such thing that can be foundable. It's just simply a name. So therefore, it's merely appearances. You see, so that negate Sautantika Madhyamika's false. You see, then that prove the Pasangika's ultimate view. Nothing but apparition of your own deluded mind. You see, why I see as a suffering person. You see, even though I carry Dharmakaya potential or Dharmakaya pre-existent, why I still regard myself as a samsaric person? Because I establish, or someone establish, in the first place, in the by the diluted appearances, by the diluted mind. I exist as a samsaric person because I exist in the apparition of my deluded mind. I see someone as a samsaric person because I apparition of him or her by my deluded mind. Because of that, I see there's another samsaric person out there, another suffering being outside there. You see, so because of my deluded mind, you see. So someone like me exists as a suffering person is merely labeled by deluded mind. Merely labeled by deluded mind. Because if I go to search, in every single basis that cannot find one single atom as me as a suffering person. You cannot detect even one single atom, one single substance as a samsaric Tenzin Zopa. You cannot find at all. You cannot find within me. You cannot find without me. You cannot find overall combination on the aggregates. You cannot find in one of the aggregates. You cannot find in the space. You cannot find in underground. You cannot find in anywhere. You cannot find in any of my elements. Even in one substance, like in the Precious Garland, talks about that you are not, you are not water element. Water element is not you, etc. You see, so when you examine within, without, overall, individually, in entire universe, you cannot find you cannot find even in a substantial level as a samsaric I or samsaric me. That is Zopa, you see. So it is just simply in the air. It's simply in the thought. You see, the air. What I'm meaning is simply in the frequency of the word that carry, that me as a samsaric person. You see, so like that. So not even a single atom exists with the reality separate from the mind. So here, one thing that need to understand, the differentiation between the Chitta presentation of emptiness and Pasangika's understanding of emptiness. Because Chitta also do pronounce that I exist. Like you go through the word, Chitta also would say, thus do not even a single atom exist with a reality separate from the mind. You see, from the mind. Chitta also would say, will use the same word. If you only want to look at the word, same word. Pasangika also will use the same wording, but the motivation, the understanding is different. The Chitta what it means, the I do not exist. Even a single atom exists with the reality separate from the mind, because the I has to be simply arising of the mind or arising of the mental imprint, that which is true existent. Chitramatra of Mind Only School would say like that, you see. But for the Southern was it Pasangika Madhyamika? But for the Pasangika Madhyamika, that I do not, therefore, not even a single atom exists with the reality separate from the mind, that mind which is lack of true existence. So it's one way, it's very simple. Chitta Matra of Mind Only School, we say, when talks about the mind, which is true existent mind. As far as concerned with the Southern, as far as concerned with Pasangika, is talking when talking about the mind here, is lack of true existent mind. So that's the difference. You see. So so when you examine thus, you will come to realize that even on a conventional level, no reference of your awareness is established as a possessing substantially true existence. That you see, that negate Chittamatra's faults. It is sort of with the Pasangika like slapped Chittamatra of pointing out the faults. You see, through examination, you will come to realize that even on the conventional level, no reference of your awareness. For Chittamatra, in conventional level, there's a reference that you can reference. You establish the reference of true existence on the conventional mind. Because of the true existence of the conventional mind, you're able to establish the existence of you. You see. So, but for the Pasangika, even on the conventional level, no reference of your awareness, no reference of your mind is established as a possessing substantially true existence. You see, for Chittamatra, there is a reference of awareness that established possessing substantially true existence. On the mind, yes, object, no, but on the mind, the subject, without having reference of true existence on the awareness, you cannot establish a person or a phenomena. You see, without having the reference of true existence on the awareness, you cannot establish. You won't able to establish existence. That Chittamatra would say. But for Saudantika, that in fact will make no existence of both truth. So therefore, in order to establish the existence of the true truth through the analysis, you're able to do so because you cannot find the true existence references not only on the object but also cannot establish on the subject. Because of that, I exist, rest of the phenomena exists, emptiness exists. In it is absolute nature of conventional truth, and it is absolute nature of the ultimate truth. Like that. So contemplate in this manner. So you see, so you contemplate. So now, as I mentioned before, it is helpful to bring the tenets, the earlier tenets, philosophy school understanding. You see, it helps. It helps to like an extra tool to see more closer of the characteristic of the negation than what you wanted to negate. As the Pasangika school, you will have a easier if you have the understanding of the other philosophical understandings on emptiness. You see, so it's a contemplate in this manner. Mm-hmm. So now the so you say, okay. So I think the time also almost finished. So I think I will not go further. I think today we focus on the emptiness of the object. So this also will be homework for coming week. The work from today on 1 week. Try to meditate. Try to do analytical meditation. So first, try to do analytical meditation. Observation meditation only able to do properly when we have clear finding from the analytical meditation. So as far as concerned with the object of meditation, analytical meditation, you can choose, as I mentioned before. If you think you're more advanced, then you can just use any object. Otherwise, you start with self. You see. So most importantly, that dream like the title here, train to view all phenomena as a dream like. Exist but do not exist. You need to come to a conclusion that I exist but I do not, I exist but do not exist. Like in the dream, there is the existence of elephant entering into my room, but then elephant do not exist there. All our fears, all our hallucinations, all our expectations, all our worries, all this filthy complaint, this and that, including our body, this complicated body, this complicated mind. In actual reality, it is exactly, it's a dream like. So the more that you get to understanding of the dream-like of all this situation, then this is the way how we reduce the suffering, how we reduce the complications, how we approach to liberation. Liberation from suffering, liberation from complaints. Like if we want to get rid of the fear of dream, the wild elephant, middle of the night, entering into your room and going to harm you, way to overcome that fear is to understand the dream like the dream, isn't it? The way to overcome the fear of elephant going to harm you, wild elephant going to harm you, is in the dream is, to realize that you are dreaming. You are, all the windows are locked, all the doors are locked, like even like you have this, what you call soundproof, windows, whatever. And you are having nightmare, soundproof from inside, but no soundproof from outside entering sound inside, but inside your sound can hear by outside. That kind of house. So you're having nightmare, while like one or two or whatever, while animal entering into your room and already entering, half body is inside your room, and you are screaming in the dream. Then your rest of the family or the neighbors have heard, and they carry whatever, the staffs to chase away, because to whatever is harmful is coming to you, maybe they come and protect you. So they guard, around your room, 10 direction, or even maybe the Dhammapalas, or the Dhammapalas come from the space, guard from upstairs. Then, so maybe whoever from the ground. So it's a completely guarding, but you don't know they're guarding you. But externally everything is guarded, but you continue to dream, and then you continue to suffer of the fear, isn't it? That doesn't help, isn't it? The only way to overcome that fear of dream is, either awake from the dream and realize it is a dream, or in the dream that you realize it is a dream. So either you have the ability to understand dream as a dream, or to awake from the sleep and realize that no elephant there. You are lying on a very comfortable bed. You feel so relieved. So similar way, this, the reality in our reality world, conventional world, every experience is like experiences in the dream. So the way to overcome is you yourself get awakened from the hallucinational dreaming state. You see, hallucinational dreaming state. Or you have the ability, like a dreamer, understand the dream. In the dream, you understand it's a dreaming. Then you don't get fear, you consulted by yourself. Similar way, you still see the hallucination appearances, but then you understand these are just hallucination appearances. Absolute reality, the actual reality is beyond this. You see, beyond this. You see, the way how I perceive does not exist the same way how it appears. The way how actual existence does not exist the way how it appears to my perceptions, to my mind. You see. So carrying the wisdom, carrying the wisdom of awakened mind. Is awakened mind here not necessarily mean you realize emptiness. It doesn't mean that you become Buddha. At least awaken in the understanding of the conventional reality and ultimate reality. So just carrying that wisdom very intensely, with much habituation in your heart. That's why the meditation is important, because meditation makes habitual to your heart. So it's so intense that occupies. You see. So So therefore, at least we train with visualizations, train with motivations, train with setting the mind. Setting the mind when we apprehend the situations, or at least setting motivation before you apprehend the situations. It will help us to elevate from the suffering. Any form of difficulty that we may have out there, the way is either you influence your mind from motivation, that today, any obstacle that comes in my way, I will take into a Lojong practice. Either I will try to understand by emptiness wisdom, or either I will understand, or either I will take that as an opportunity to purify my karma, or either I will take that opportunity to generate compassion, or either I will understand as an opportunity to practice patience. You see, so you set the motivation, then that motivation influence, your experiences with the situation that comes in your way. You see. So until that, even suffering also become beneficial. Suffering also is like no more suffering, because suffering does not exist inherently from its own side. It's just simply a projection of your appearances, simply a projection of your mind. Like first time when I tried coffee, just a coffee, bitter, awful, don't like it. It's bitter. I want sweet. But then I hear, coffee got what was antioxidant. Very good for your health. Coffee will, for me, especially when I study, is very good because make me stay awake. Oh, very good. I want to stay awake. Nothing helps. Coffee will help. Even how bitter also I drink. Not only that, you drink each time, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. All your system, all your organs, like tongue's organs, are already habituate with the taste of that bitter, until that bitterness now is delicious. Before it's bitter, but now feel delicious. The motivation, the way of understanding the benefit of coffee now make me, I want coffee. I like coffee. In every aspect, I like coffee. But at the beginning, it is terrible. It is terrible. You don't like the smell. You don't like the taste. But now, the moment you smell the coffee, wow, your day, it made the day. The moment you get the coffee, wow, the day start. Bright day start. You see. So few days ago, one of my Dharma friend sent me one clip. There's one person giving a lecture, and he used that one word called, whether I can pronounce correctly or not, I don't know. Oxytocin. OXYTOCIN, oxytocin, which is which one of the meaning that I can relate is chemical messenger in the brain. And he was giving an example of being kind to somebody. So being kind to somebody, you are happy. And someone who saw that you are being kind to somebody, he was happy. When he acknowledged you that you did such a good work, he's happy, you're happy, So okay, what I mean is this. All the perceptions, there's a leading cause. You see, so most of the secondary perceptions was essential. All the sensual perceptions. It has to depend on the sensual organs. You see, sensual organs to interpret or understand the experiences when the senses relate to the others. When the senses relate to its object, isn't it? You see, so. And that senses organ is, what's it? Yeah. That senses organ is very much, that senses organ, both the senses organ and also the motivational mind, it linked to the brain, the senses organs experiences in relation to the object is very much need the help of brain. And whether the communication will exist or not in between senses organs and the brain is whether there is the existing of base mind, base mental factor. If there's no basis of mental factor, then even there's a sensual organ like a tongue is there and brain is there, you cannot experience when you put bitter coffee on your tongue, you cannot experience the bitterness, isn't it? So the main play, whether you will feel bitter or not, is very much dependent on the two major causes, and especially the main causes, which is the base causes, which is the primary mind. You see, so if the primary mind keep giving, keep either in the motivation or either in the understanding, whenever you come close to coffee, think of the benefit, think of the benefit, etc. And that already influence your brain. That already influence your system, your nervous system. You see, your nervous system, your cells. Because the nervous system and the cells, they are gross, they are subtle, they're innermost subtle. You see, so you see, so from the innermost subtle to the gross channels, gross nervous system, gross wind system, gross the mind system, everything is like influence each other, relate to each other, and everyone is very much a play of the main mind basis. You see, so therefore, when through the motivation or through the understanding of the benefits, it generates oxytocin. It generates oxytocin. The messages to the brain and to the messages to the tongue. That until now, coffee become delicious. Until now, the coffee become like, wow, one of the best things. Like without coffee, you cannot survive like that. You see, so that clearly shows that the perception is the one is making up. Perception is the one is making up. The main mastermind is the perception. You see, without that perception, even you have a big tongue, also no use. Without the mastermind, even there's the best aroma coffee out there, no use. You can't smell. That's because in order the nose organs to experience the smell, you need the base mind to experience that. You see, so it's very much depend on what the base mind decides. Uh, uh, how this perception apprehend, it is object, and how the experience take place. So therefore now, suffering and the happiness, samsara and nirvana, is clearly proven that it is merely appearance of your mind, merely projection of your mind. You see. So therefore, right at the beginning, it sounds like irrelevant. Just changing my mind. How can I overcome all the suffering? Physically got pain. Just meditating on emptiness. How possible? It is possible. It is possible. Similar way, physical pain sensation is very much a relation to the feeling. What do you call the aggregates? You see, the feeling aggregates exist on the basis of the existence of the mind. If there's no mind exists, then even you cut the flesh, you won't feel the pain, isn't it? So therefore, in emptiness, as long as therefore, if you bring intense habitual to entire your mental system in emptiness, then one can really bring the purifications of the pain. It doesn't mean that you can able to eradicate the wound. It doesn't mean you can able to make disappear of the contaminated physical body. It is not a business at all. The object side, you see. So now here another very important of Buddhist understanding, Buddhist practice is all about mind. All about mind, and all objective is free from suffering and actualized liberation. You see, we are not here to kind of make everything upside down physically. Buddhist purpose, Buddhist practice, and emptiness meditation is not here for you to achieve a power that you make the sky down and the ground on the top. It's not for that. It's simply about freeing from suffering. That's the matter. There's nothing wrong. Sun shines. Nothing wrong. Rains. Nothing wrong that the air moves. You see, but whatever it is, the being cannot be suffered. You see, so. So be liberated from this, liberated from all this suffering of environment, suffering of one's own world, including this world of aggregates, contaminated aggregates. The way to free yourself from all this suffering and problem is to free our mind, free this hallucinational perception. Carry the perceptions of the liberated, the enlightened perception, or the purified perceptions of the grasping. You see, so that's why meditation is needed. The more that you are habitual, then easier, to overcome. You see, like a magician, still see the magic elephant on the stick, but there's no grasping as a magician's elephant on the stick, because he knows there's no elephant. You see. So similar way, when we through much analysis on the emptiness of self, you still apprehend, that I exist with all this basis of physical aggregates. You can communicate, you can eat, you need to eat, you need to sleep, you need to rest, etc., etc. But there's no grasping in sleeping. There's no grasping in your aggregate. There's no grasping in your experiences. There's no grasping in any activities that you perform through your body, speech, and mind. You're free from grasping because you know there's nothing to grasp. Because you know there's not even a one single atom, substantially can be out there to grasp as a problem, grasp as a filthy, unhappiness, whatever. There's nothing to grasp, you see. So you can still display, the same thing. There's nothing to disappear. Whatever is externally is the same thing, but then on this shell of external ordinariness, you can still carry the liberated state of being or enlightened state of being, you see. So like that. Okay, so I think I stop here. Thank you very much. Okay, we do a short dedication. I think I already took extra time, your extra precious time. Yes, so without any doubt, especially we discuss on emptiness, we repeated again and again name of emptiness, as we see in the Buddha's scriptures, that it has so much benefits on purification, accumulation of merit, just even mentioning the name of emptiness. And not only that, we conducted this session with the correct motivation of altruism, with the blessing of the merit-filled refuge guru. So therefore, infinite accumulation merit is accumulated. May this collective merit be complete cause for numberless sentient beings, free from suffering, free from samsara. Again here, the meaning here is, we are dedicating for each and every single sentient being to be free from their own hallucination. Until the hallucination, aggregate is not cleared, then even if we lose the form, even if we discard the form aggregates, we cannot be free from suffering. So you see, so we dedicate the merit for all sentient beings to be awakened. So that is the liberation. That's how we abide. That's how we hope all sentient beings will abide in the state of liberation, is abide in the awakening state from these hallucinations. Like realize that we are in the dream state. So we may this collective merit be complete cause for whatever these collective karmic experiences or appearances that is going around, including this pandemic crisis, be overcome. It's all a projection of mind. You see, it's a collective karmic result that the entire world we have to experience this. Meaning is collective result of the hallucinational mind due to the wrong concept, wrong view, then conduct wrong actions, and because of that, all these diseases, all these sufferings comes away, include whether to do with environmental crisis, health crisis, individual crisis, global crisis. Everything is byproduct of our mind, byproduct of our wrongdoing. Why perform wrongdoing? Because of carrying wrong mind. What is that wrong mind? Basically, it's a hallucinational, grasping mind. You see. So therefore, how important to realize emptiness? How important to understand emptiness? How important to meditate on emptiness to overcome suffering? overcome committing causes of suffering. Because everything is because of the wrong view and wrong understanding of the reality. Because of that, everything starts from there. May this collective merit be a complete cause for all the world leaders and all the leaders of organizations, all the leaders of the family, actualize awakening mind, so that can able to, bring peace, harmony, happiness, virtues. May this collective merit be a complete cause for each and every one of us, have sense of diligence, sense of remembrance, awareness, to never to miss out meditating on emptiness. If possible, all the time. All the time. I think we have discussed a little bit before. We will discuss more about that. Whether you are in a meditation session or whether in post-meditation session, like there's not even one moment that you are away from the awareness of emptiness understanding. May we have that enthusiasticness. May this merit be the cause for us to, it's like almost the emptiness wisdom is infused in every single cell, every single movement, every single aggregate, every single thought. You see. Initially, we need much discipline training in that, which is just simply understanding, and contemplate, and meditate, observation, meditation. This is the way. And this, teaching is so wonderful, very, very clear. Just follow the word, follow they're just writing here. Just, like take as a guided meditation. Just do accordingly. It's so wonderful. May this quality merit be a complete cause. All the gurus like Sonas Dalai Lama, Kyabsha Lama Suvaramache, and all your precious gurus who bring light in our dark hallucinational world, the light of wisdom, light of blessing on emptiness, like even like Shakyamuni Buddha, like how Lama Tsongkhapa offer praises on the dependent rising, in the appreciation of Buddha teaching emptiness. None of the other teachers of religion have taught emptiness. That's why we call it supreme among supreme teacher. You see, and from that point of view, how fortunate we are. Like emptiness teachings are so available. Qualified teachers are so available, and you have much interest, and you also have much merit to understand quite easily. See, now we need the blessing and the merit. Just find time to put effort. Just find time. No, not find time. We have time. Just remember to use the wisdom of emptiness. We have time, because whether you're meditating, whether you're working out, whether you are going here, doing that, everything is a time for emptiness. So we don't need any separate time. You see, as long as we are able to remember, all our experiences are like a dream, like the magician, how detach from that one stick as an elephant, because he knows it's not elephant. It's a magician's elephant. Like stay free from grasping. Similar way, we can do that. You see, the only thing is we have to remember to use the opportunity, use the emptiness mind in those. You see, so we dedicate like that. Okay, so thank you very much, and please take good care of yourself. Still, this the pandemic difficulties are still around. Even though you may be well purified, but then not everyone is purified. So therefore, for everyone's benefit, everybody need to be taking good care, and in the Dharma wisdom, be happy, never to feel suffocated because of cannot go out, because of cannot go to, cannot have a social kind of all those meetings, as long as the heart is connected with everybody, as long as your times are utilized meaningfully, as long as you have this conventional communication through telephones, now especially visual communications, so nothing to feel lacking. And there are people who circumstantially they are having difficulties, when people are passing away, when people are sick, then due to this coronavirus difficulty, people cannot come together. There are such conventional realistic difficulties, and for them, we offer our sympathy, we offer our prayers, and we can do more if we practice more like that. Yeah. So thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.